Hi there! Welcome to the very first Snappy Snippet. Yesterday was Palm Sunday, and this coming Sunday is Resurrection Sunday, and that makes this week Passion Week. What is Passion Week? Well, in Passion Week, Jesus arrived in Jerusalem just in time for the Passover festival. And Passover was the biggest celebration that the Jewish people had every year. It was a time to thank God for rescuing them from Egypt hundreds and hundreds of years ago. On that night in Egypt, they had eaten lamb and bread without yeast, and every year since, they had commemorated the event by eating the same meal. It was called Passover, not because you passed the bread to the right at the table, not because there was a ceremonial game of piggy in the middle or anything funny like that. No. It was called Passover because the blood of the lamb that was eaten meant that God passed over them in judgment. The Jews were not perfect, and although the punishment for their sin against God should have been death, God made a way for the innocent lamb to die instead of them. It took their place. When the Jews celebrated Passover, they were looking back in time, all the way back to the Exodus. But this year, in Jerusalem, the city of David, it was to be a very different sort of Passover. Jesus had arrived in Jerusalem as the Messiah, the promised saviour of God's people. He said this was to be the last Passover, because it was also a sign of something to come in the future, something coming very soon. Passover was a happy week. But Jesus knew that this Passover would end with his death on the cross. So having arrived in Jerusalem, what did Jesus do? Well, he spent the week teaching the people at the temple, the house of God. He said some things and did some things that people didn't like at all. Now he told them that God wasn't pleased with them. He told them that another judgment, bigger than Exodus, was coming. He told them that his authority came from heaven. And he also told them that he was the Son of God, and that he knew they were planning to kill him. When he did all these things, and said all these things, some people believed him and decided to trust him. But Judas chose to betray Jesus, giving him away to the authorities for a tiny bag of money. Everyone has a choice to make about Jesus, even you. And so finally the day came, Passover. Jesus and his disciples went to a house, and the owner let them eat the Passover meal in his upstairs room. At the end of the meal, Jesus did something which the others found quite confusing. He took the bread and he broke it into pieces. And he said that this is what was going to happen to his body. And then he took the wine and he passed it around, and all the disciples drank some. And he said that this was how his blood was going to be poured out. You can read all about it. Why not take on a challenge? Why not read one chapter of Luke's Gospel each day this week? Start today at chapter 19, and by chapter 23 on Friday, you'll have had a chance to learn about everything that happened while Jesus was in Jerusalem during Passion Week. God's people don't celebrate the Passover anymore, but we still do what Jesus did then. We share the bread and the wine, especially at this time of year, Easter. Jesus was arrested, he was charged, and he was killed. And he was taking my place, just like the innocent lamb did at the first Passover. His body was broken for my sin, so I, eat the bread. His blood was shed, it was poured out to make me right with God. So I drink the wine. It's not magic, it's nothing funny, but it does help me remember. This Sunday I'll be really sad that we can't do it together in person. But why not pray to Jesus this week? If he is your saviour, then this is his gift to you. It reminds you of his death and helps us look forward to his return. Wouldn't it be great to be part of God's people this weekend, knowing that Jesus died in your place to save you from your sin? That's all for this Snappy Snippet. Good luck with your Passion Week challenge, and we'll be back with another Snappy Snippet on Wednesday.